Morning, everybody. If you would, please come on in and have a seat, and we'll begin our meeting. We're going to ask Chairman Jaspers if he would please open us up with a word of prayer.
Let's bow our heads together, please. Heavenly Father, thank you for another wonderful week upcoming. But man, what a great weekend we had, being with our families and taking care of our health and mental health and all that good stuff. Please look after us, help keep us wise, help keep us fair and just. We know we do this work in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Okay. Chairman, come on up. Chairman Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. First page, 6 from the top, H.R. 558. House Study Committee on the State Board of Registration of Used Car Motor Vehicle Dealers. What we're doing with this is creating a study committee to determine whether the regulation of the used motor vehicle industry would be better suited within the same agency that actually issues the tops and the dealer plates. They've got access to all the data. Right now it's in the Secretary of State. They don't have access to the data, and it's just better fit to move it to the Department of Revenue.
Okay. Don't see any questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman Dubnik.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, top of the third page under modified structure. I am not Senator Kennedy, but I am here on his behalf to present Senate Bill 123. Mr. Chairman, unfortunately last year our state faced a very troubling statistic that 23% of our students were chronically absent. That's just not a number. That's 380,000 students who missed 10% or more of the school year. This bill is not aimed at fixing that overnight. This is the first step in defining in code what chronic absenteeism is and taking a number of steps to correct it.
Okay. Don't see any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. On page 4, down toward the bottom, SB 298, judgments and rulings. What this does is offer a direct appeal for those municipalities who want to challenge a determination that they do not have immunity in cases. Currently, they have to wait until the trial's over before they can go back and appeal the question of immunity. In this case, would give them a single bite at the apple on the front end of the appeal process and expedite the process. Protects our counties and city governments.
Okey-doke. Don't see any questions.
Thank you. And I also have 99 and 100 on there that I'd appreciate any consideration on.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Page 2 of the modified structure rule. Senate Bill 236 expands the supported military school-aged children to streamline a better process for enrolling their using their military orders to enroll their children into school.
Page 4.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Senate Bill
Page
236.
236 of the modified structure rule. I do apologize.
Okay. No questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, committee members. I'm on page 2, Senate Bill 93. As we all know, we have a reading crisis in the state that we began to address with the Early Literacy Act. We have 70% of kids that are not reading on grade level, and so this bill seeks to ensure that our teacher prep programs are preparing teachers properly and not teaching the 3QM method, which is now included in House Bill 307, Representative Dollar's bill. So this just makes sure that we have an alignment with the PSC and preparing our future teachers to be in alignment with the science of reading.
Okay. Don't see any questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Senator Alvarez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of this committee. On the first page in the middle is Senate Resolution 231. This is to rename the Holcomb Bridge and 400 interchange for fallen police officer Jeremy Labonte. I would just like to mention that typically these will fall under an omnibus bill, and I'm going to ask this not be the way. This is the first and only person we've ever lost in the line of duty in the city of Roswell, and we want to be able to present this resolution to the family by itself, not in a big bill, in order to know how much that we care about them and his sacrifice for us. The next one is just down a few more on the first sheet, Senate Bill 9. Great work led by Representative Brad Thomas on making sure we keep deepfakes out of elections and other areas to keep our ethics straightforward.
Okay. Don't see any questions.
Thank
on
you
this.
so
Thank
much.
you, sir. Senator, how you doing?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On page 4, Senate Bill 241, middle of the page. This is a bill that's going to regulate how human remains are a method of disposition through human composting. This is to make sure that Noble, Georgia does not take place again. This is a being proactive rather than reactive to make sure that if this is ever done, that you're licensed and regulated and inspected.
Okay, have a question. Representative Williams?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the author of the bill, just some clarification, and I know the Funeral Directors Caucus has unanimously approved this, but there's some rumors, and clarify, please. Will this include the fertilizing of tomatoes and okra under your bill, using dear beloved departed as a compost?
The compost would be returned to the family member if they so desire, and then it's up to that family member what they do with it. They can donate it to a land bank. You can put it in your tomato garden if you wish, or whatever you wish to do.
I think that's all on that line of questions there we got.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I don't see any more questions. Chairman Brass.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I bring SB 220. It's it could be another use for the compost. You could grow medical marijuana with it, with your loved ones. But this bill simply expands access for those that are already qualified with one of 17 conditions.
Okay. Don't see any questions. Senator.
Thank you.
Wait, excuse me, we do have a question. Pro Tem has a
I had a
question
question.
for you.
Does this allow vaping?
It does. It does. We found that in some of our patients that need immediate reaction or immediate relief from the medicine, such as seizures or potentially even PTSD, having an immediate episode, they would need that immediate relief. So that was the purpose of vaping.
Okay, don't see any other questions,
Thank
Senator.
you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Senator Dixon.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, committee members. I've got two bills on both of them are on page 2. The first one is SB 63, and it has to do with homeschool students and allowing them to take their advanced placement testing, their college placement testing at their residency school if they had chose to go to that school. The issue arose not from anybody under the Gold Dome. It was actually started a couple of years ago with families in my home county in Gwinnett that were homeschool parents started reaching out to me saying that they were having issues with Gwinnett and the school system. Some years they would allow the testing, some years they wouldn't. The years that they would, it would be at a designated location in one area in the county, and as many of you know, that's visited Gwinnett, our traffic, getting across Gwinnett can take over an hour depending on what type of day you're traveling. So parents would have to take off work to do this. What this bill simply does is, and what I believe are, these parents are paying their taxes locally and at the state level just like all of the other parents are that's going into the school system, so it's not a negative on the school system. They would still be a plus, I believe, but it would allow these students to take that testing at their residency school. They would have to register with that school, so the school would know the student is coming. They would be prepared for that because that testing, as many of you know, the way they set the desk up and everything, they have to be prepared, and other things for the test. But that's what it does, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Don't see any questions on that.
Thank
you have
you.
another one, too?
Yes, I do. It's on page 2, SB 82, and it has to do with our charter school system in the state. In the past 5 years, there's only been one charter school approved locally here in the state of Georgia, with over 30 being approved at the state level. Other states, typically 90% of charter schools are approved at the local level, 10% at the state level. I believe it's more efficient that way, because they are, going to be, teaching the kids in that local area. Plus, it cuts the burden on the state in half. It's typically about $4 million for a state charter school, and then if it's approved locally, it's about half of that. What this bill does, it's got a carrot and a stick. If the local school systems approve a charter school, within that year, they would receive an additional $250,000 for 3 years, consecutive years, after approving that school. If the school system denies 2 charter schools, if they've got students between 10,000 and 60,000, if they deny 2 charter schools and they're approved by the state later that year, they would lose their flexibility funding. And if it was a school system that was 60,000 plus, it would have to take 3 denials.
Whip Park has a question for you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you clarify the penalties that would be imposed on local school districts? And do you have concerns that this is undermining local control?
Yeah, no, I don't believe it is. I think that, the movement we've had in the state with more school options, I think that our charter school system is a unique option for children, and it does fit, many families and students, their education options very well. There's about 65,000 students that are enrolled in charter schools currently in the state, and I believe it's 21,000 on a waiting list. So there is a need, a demand for this. And I would say, that we're able to hold these schools more accountable than any other school system in the state. It's a 5-year charter, and if they don't perform, then they can be shut down.
And can you speak to the penalties and the potential financial costs this would impose on local school districts?
Yeah, it would just, if they were denied, it would do away with their flexibility contracts.
Thank you.
Leader Hughley, you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the author of the bill, I'm just trying to understand, we elect local school boards to make these decisions based on what's best for their communities. And Gwinnett is very different from Columbus, Georgia. And so you're telling me that if my school system did not find that a charter is in line with what we need in our area, and they go and the state gives them a charter, that our schools are going to lose funding? Is that what you're saying?
If it was from 10,000 to 60,000 students, they would have to deny 2 that were later approved.
Pro Tem has a question for you.
I just wanted to ask a question to the senator. Is it not true that they would not lose 1 dime? What they would lose is flexibility that the state gives them in exchange for state priorities. Like, we have priorities that students achieve, that they have a good graduation rate, they have good school climate, all the things that go into whether or not they get the renewal of that flexibility contract. And what you're, I think, suggesting, we have since 2008 when we first passed state charter schools, that it is a state priority that students in Georgia have more public school options, and unfortunately that has not borne out at the local level. To take further the numbers that you cited, there have been 3 locally approved charter schools in the last 10 years and 56 at the state level. We're simply trying to encourage local school systems respond to our shared constituents who are begging for more public school options.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Chairman Newton has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is the goal, did you say it's $250,000 a year for 3 years? Is the goal of that, if that's the correct amount, is that to help offset some of the startup expenses as students begin to decide, or parents and students begin to decide which option is best for their student? Is that just to help offset some of those expenses of getting these schools started?
That is correct. Yeah,
That's
so it's not
$250 a year
negative.
for 3 years. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Don't see any other questions. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Mr. Chairman, committee members.
Senator Walker.
Good morning. So I have three bills on the blue sheet. On page 3, toward second from the top, Senate Bill 125. I've already spoken to this one, Mr. Chairman, but it would allow engineers in waiting to take their professional engineering exam prior to completing their field work, hopefully to improve the pass rate. On top of page 4, Senate Bill 201. We've seen after especially large natural disasters, large weather events, contractors come in that are trying to take advantage of our homeowners and rush them into signing contracts for work, especially after Hurricane Michael, Hurricane Helene, but others. This would give the consumer an option to get out of that contract if it happened during after a state declared emergency. And then on down on the same page, Senate Bill 284 would give the Secretary of State's office a fourth option when they're dealing with securities fraud. Currently, they can suspend a license or issue a cease and desist order, and they can enforce civil fines, but they do not have in the code the ability to require the criminal basically to return invested funds to the defrauded investors. This would give them that fourth option in the enforcement of that. A lot of times that is negotiated out on the front end where funds are returned, but it's not in the code, so if the party that was defrauding investors didn't cooperate or didn't strike a deal, there's no option to have those funds returned to the investor.
Okay, don't see any questions, Senator.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Senator, come on up.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, members of the committee. Page number 2, 5 items down, is SB 46. It's entitled Government Serves the People, and what this is creating a service matrix for the departments that are in our state. This would use GTA as the administrative arm, and then each department would assign one person to report to them. What we're looking for, anything, anywhere from whole time. What's the response? We're looking at service to our citizens. And what happens is there's not really a measuring stick, and our idea behind it with them is to create a best practices for what's expected in turnaround. And many of the larger departments do a really good job because they have the resources. Your smaller departments don't. The other part that we have had conversations, I've met with them even after our last meeting, is this: we need to be aware that many people don't have internet, don't have access to the internet, and we need that service level to also be available. And that's one of the things that does not get measured really well. So that's the first one that's there. I said this is that we need service metrics. You can't manage what you can't measure. And we also have a physical note on it from that standpoint. The second one is at the bottom.
Senator, you've already presented at 46
Yes,
one time, have
yes,
you
sir.
not? You don't have to come but one time.
One time?
Yes, sir.
I had such a good time, I wanted to
Well,
come
we're
back.
always glad to have you, but it's not necessary to make another trip. But you're welcome to come anytime. And if you have a member who has a question, maybe y'all get together offline and you can talk about that. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it, but it was so much fun, I wanted to come back again.
Glad to have you anytime. Senator, come on up.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, and ladies and gentlemen of the committee. The only reason I came by is because I miss y'all so bad. So and I noticed Senate Bill 12 has not been picked. It's on the lower end of not the bottom, but the lower end of your front page. It's a good bill, and I hope that you can get it on the floor because it did get modified over here in the House, and I need to make sure it comes back over to the Senate and we can adopt your recommendation and your changes. And I just ask for your consideration on that. It's one that's supported by not only the Georgia Chamber, the Metro Atlanta Chamber, ACCG, GMA, and I think it's a good cleanup on a court case that was settled with the Supreme Court.
Good. No questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any members of the committee with a request? Have you got one today? No, I don't think so. Okay, all right, nothing today. Okay, now we have set a calendar earlier for 4 bills on for today. Let's set a supplemental calendar for today also. Under modified structured, Senate Bill 112. Have a move and second. Is there any opposition? It's on. Senate Bill 123. Moved and seconded. Any opposition? It's on. Senate Bill 149. Moved and seconded. Any opposition? It's on. Senate Bill 193. Moved and seconded. Any opposition? It's on. Okay, so that'll give us a total of 8 for today. I want to call on Chairman Leverett for an announcement.
Just want to thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to remind everybody that the Subcommittee of Rules on Lawsuit Reform will meet today at 3 o'clock. We're going to take up Senate Bill 69. So I hope everybody who is interested in that bill will please attend. And I'll be in this room, 3 o'clock.
Thank you. Also, the subcommittee will meet from 3 to 5, and then the full committee will meet upon adjournment or immediately thereafter to consider that bill, the full Rules Committee. So we need to see all of you back this afternoon. And then also on Wednesday, tomorrow, we'll have a full Rules Standing Committee meeting at 2 o'clock to take up Senate Bill 255, which is in the Rules Committee. And then we'll meet upon adjournment of the Rules Committee to set a calendar for the next legislative day. So we've got a lot going on, but there's a lot we need to get done. So thank you. Don't forget to show up this afternoon. Thank you very much.